Hi, Doug and Judy. I'm Troy. I'm really excited that you guys are coming. You got the Grossman's recommendation, so that says a lot about you already. I'm excited to have you in the classroom. I only have 3 students to offer, but they're going to keep your hands full. Don't worry about it. I've got a pile of stuff for you. I do a lot of weird things, and I cut out most of the weird things, so hopefully you can bring your own flavor to everything that I offer. Sounds like you're very competent, both of you, and you have energy and experience, so I'm just going to leave it to you. However creatively you want to tweak and mold everything, the new experience is probably just as important for my students as getting all the content I leave behind. So I'll show you what there is to show. Hopefully it'll take away some of your questions and wonders as we get started. Here's a classroom real quick. I'll get rid of my face. Got a couple of whiteboards around, the smart board right there. I'll explain that in a minute. The kind of assignment boards, we have a calendar board over here that you can check out, and I'll show it to you later. And the distance class assignment board keeps everybody organized for reading and math. The whiteboard I normally use to teach, especially math, to Alan. And then the student desks. There are only 3 students, but they all get like 2.5 desks. My desk is all yours. Do whatever you want with it. Reconstruct the room, look through the drawers, kind of make the place your own home as much as you like. The closets have a few things in it. I rarely use that space, so if you want to tuck a few personal items away or hang up your coat, that's definitely available. If you need a snack, it's up there. Matthew might tell you, or probably Michael in the classroom will tell you, that we have stuff up here that we give away on Fridays for students that have had perfect weeks, and there's some drawings for students that had perfect days. The more perfect days you have, the more likely you are to win stuff. Oh, there's me in high school and junior high. I got a board up here in which I'm writing down the things that matter most. I'll have a different board up by the time you get here, but on top I usually have announcements, things students need to know, and then a few things. Alan is my youngest. He's in 5th grade. He has pretty much a reading homework and an Envision math lesson with one of you two, probably Doug, I assume, each day. That'll be taught out of his book. You just kind of wing it. Sounds like he might be a math teacher, so you'll probably be fine at that. And then he does some worksheets and a workbook for homework. Pretty straightforward. Typing web, just tell him to do typing web. He'll go online, log in with his account, and he'll work on typing for speed, basically learning to use the computer. Jill, oh, let me tell you Alan's temperament. Super nice guy, kind of a, he's got a sense of humor, likes to goof around. You know, sometimes his goofing around can be a little abrasive. So, you know, be prepared for that, but also don't take it if it's rude. So I'll try to give you an honest picture of my students, but I think you'll really enjoy Alan. He's a nice kid. Jill has primarily responsibility issues. She has trouble getting to school on time, but when she is here, 75% of the time she's a pleasure to have. She wants to learn. She's aggressive. She has high goals. She likes to be involved in what's going on. Every now and again she has a bad day, which usually has more to do with her personal life than school, and that does unfortunately spill into school. So if she comes in crazy one day, you know, it's just tough. I don't pull punches with her. I expect her to be respectful and to meet her responsibilities, but I try to also listen to her, be kind, give her some space when I can. Michael's pretty awesome. He's a little physically weak. He's had some major surgery. He had a brain tumor removed a few years ago, but super nice guy. Pretty intelligent, willing to be a part of things, helpful. When I work with them during the day, it's usually more like super tutor than your traditional teaching environment. So it'll just be abstract. It'll just be whatever it is at the moment, and you just have to flex and roll with what their needs are. And it's not too hard to do with 3, but it'll make you tired by the end of the day. The smart board is basically a mouse combo with a projector. So if you want to show a video and whatnot, the projector's right there. You never have to touch that. The power is down at the bottom. Hit the orange button once for on, twice for off, and the dongle, as they call it, is over here. If you have a Mac, you'll use this white part to plug in. If you have a PC, you have to take the white part off and use the black part to plug in. I got some speakers here on the desk, so if you want to plug in and make some sound, this green will do it for you. Alright, this podium is just what I use for my math level 8 distance class, and I'm going to record classes for that, so no worries, that's kind of dead space for you. Over here we have some calendars. If you ever need passwords, almost every password we need is in this little stack of papers right there, so that'll how to take care of it. These cards, if you're wondering, they're like workout cards. Michael is trying to stay healthy and it's hard for him, so we give him some cards to work with. That you can or cannot, at your discretion, use. Alan is the only person that's totally caught up. So if you look over here, there's these red and green cards. Alan's the only person that's on track with the goals that he as a student set for himself in order this year to meet goals that will someday lead to his future goals of being a pilot. Jill is thinking about being a model slash photographer. She has not come to school. Her attendance rate is about 56%. She is late almost every day. So don't expect to see her until 9:15, 9:30, which causes a lot of problems, and she misses most of, if not all of her reading class every day. She was on track, and because of her attendance this year, it looks like she's not going to graduate on time unless she really makes a change. She wants to do well, she just gets no support and doesn't have the extreme personal motivation to overcome her environment that she would need. And then Michael is behind because of absences and a little bit of a slow work rate. So you have to kind of stay on him. Don't let him float too much. Even though he's a nice guy, he will get lazy on you sometimes. So you can see the little X's mean they've accomplished things. Really, the way I've got it set up, you won't have to look at these. But if you ever wonder, what should they be doing? You know, if they get done with everything, which I promise isn't going to happen, then they can come here and check all that stuff out. All right, moving on. We have a side classroom over here, nothing too spectacular. They can use this. I let my students roam. As long as they're getting work done, they're welcome to work in independent spaces. Sometimes they need space. During distance classes, they have to read out loud sometimes, and they don't like to have people next to them, primarily because other people talking goes through the mic to the other class, and it's just frustrating. So they usually spread out for distance classes. This board is split up by the 3 students. It is our distance lesson plan board. So the lesson plan for Alan in reading usually looks like this. You can see he aggressively crosses off things he accomplished. He actually did those, he just didn't cross them off. He doesn't have anything on the bottom because he does not have distance math, only distance reading. The others, however, of course the math would be in Vision, which by the way, Alan's math work is all down here in Vision Math. It's below the lesson plans. The yellow sheets are the ones he would do after you teach a lesson. So you can see the topics, all the way up through 12. I'm finishing 11 with him right now, and it looks like he's going to be doing probably 12. Oh, it's tough. He'll either be in 12 or 13 when you get here. Right now I think I have scheduled for 13, but he's struggling with fraction operations, so we'll see how that goes. Jill has a reading lesson plan that's pretty straightforward. I'll have that put up, and then she's got a math calendar that tells you what's due each day. She does need to show you what she's done each day. My rule is if they don't do homework one night, then they have that day to try to skip breaks, skip lunch, whatever they got to do to get it done. And if the next day they still haven't been caught up, then they have to stay after school. Jill avoids that like the plague. She will fight and everything but curse probably to not stay after school. So it's a tough one. And the same over here for Michael. His are the most extensive. He's in graduation levels, reading 10 and math 10, and it's pretty tough work. What's open right here is the math book for Envision 5, and it's what I use to help teach Alan. I just grab some problems out of the book, and we just make them up on the board and just go to work on whatever we need to. For science, if you're ever interested in the middle of teaching, you're wondering what you're supposed to be teaching, you get lost, I have this up here just to reference frequently. It's the standards for science. It helps me, may not help you. That's about it for stuff you really need to know. Jill sits here by the door, Michael over there by the window, and Alan next to him in this spot. I'll show you a few of the pages that might matter. I've put a few things together. These yellow overviews give you kind of the overview of what each student's doing. Kind of already talked you through that, so I'll sort of skip it. A couple of things you might be interested in, like down here, this is Alan. Alan's overview says reading online classwork, so whatever's assigned to him. He's got the Envision 5 with Doug, which I talked about. For social studies, we'll do whole class work, which hopefully you saw in my lesson plans that I sent to you, and whole class syllabus work in, I got those backwards. So the syllabus is in social studies. Science, you're doing classwork, and then PEP, family experience narrative, and then typing web is something that he'll know about. He'll know how to do all of that. And we have lesson plans. That should be pretty easy for you. I hope it makes sense anyway. Up at the top we have a warm-up each day. So ladder ball or Pictionary, whatever game they want to play. I'll leave ladder ball up. It's kind of fun to play. Usually lasts from 3 to 10 minutes depending on how fast they work through stuff. Writing packets, that's a green packet. They're used to that. They're usually supposed to do a half a page each day. Then there's distance classes followed by distance homework, and that leads right into the half-hour lesson that Doug will give to Alan in Math 5. Distance classes for ME is Michael Tuckmelra, JM is Jillian Matson, and then distance class homework. There's a little time before the 11:30 lunch. Then social studies, I got those lessons all laid out in the lesson plans. Hopefully that makes sense. And then I used a simpler form of the science. You're probably pretty astute at science, and you're welcome to beef this up or make it more exciting or entertaining or whatever extension or fun you might want to add. I use YouTube videos often. If you want to do that, you're welcome to as well. Okay, so there's an example anyway. There are 3 weeks worth of lesson plans there, which you probably figured out. In the back, there's Doug's science guide. Science maybe needed a little more in-depth lesson plan, so I wrote that stuff all out for you. So you should be all set. Next, social studies. The Rome syllabus. So I'm trying to get through most of that. The one that I skipped is the Christianity timeline. There's no good resource for that. You got to hodgepodge it together from a lot of sources, and I just feel like it's too awkward and cumbersome to do without doing some serious study beforehand. If you feel like you want to do that kind of studying, figure it out, and help them fill it out, go ahead. It's hard, but I'm just expecting that when I get back, I'll do that. But the rest of it, if you could, that would be awesome. The pink are just copies of it. The white one's just like a master copy. For science, if you notice, well, you probably didn't notice, you couldn't see them. But the blue packet, I've got it in blue. Here's that blue packet. That'll take you through just about a whole week. That blue packet is basically photocopies of this green Science: A Closer Look textbook. So those two are really the same thing there. And below it, you've got topographic maps in yellow. That's the second week. And then when you head into the third week, things may or may not get a little bit weird because you might have some basketball jam people leaving. So there's a jamboree. Our district doesn't do like one class or one group comes together to play. They send all the schools to one place and have this big old jamboree. Here's the calendar real quick. The first week you're here, there's no school on Monday, and it rolls pretty simple for Thursday. The next week there's something called AIMSweb. AIMSweb is a standardized testing, monitoring of progress thing. And then the third week you have basketball jam. To show you AIMSweb real quick, I got a whole stack over here. Best thing to do is ask Matthew. There's too many details to put on a video. Alright, I think that's about it, except for writing, which is pretty self-explanatory in here, and the students will already know what's going on. A couple of books that Jill can use, and I think that's it. Here's a couple of people that borrowed my four-wheeler and went for a ride. Say hi, everybody.
Hello.
Hey, that's Joe and Monica. Oh,
Look at these weird gloves.
Those are nice.
It's like a 4-mid, 2-finger.
I actually have a pair just like that, trigger gloves. Yeah. Nice.
One fit in the trigger.
Joe and Monica are legends. They graduated last year. It was exciting. All right, Doug. Have a good one. And Judy, look forward to potentially meeting you on the back end, right? So have a nice one. I hope that helped.